Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Chinu Agrawal and I'm here at the 33rd International Congress of Psychology at the beautiful city of Prague in Europe. Friends, I'm meeting many wonderful people in this conference and I cannot be so selfish to keep them to myself. I want you all to meet them as well. And a beautiful person with me right now is a psychologist from Ireland. Her name is Marta. She is a financial lawyer turned to a psychologist. And the work that she's doing is so very interesting. She's studying creativity in psychology. And so, Marta, welcome. And I want you to say something about yourself to my audience.
Hello, everyone. It's a real honor to be here today, and I'm really happy to meet you. It's my pleasure, and thank you very much for having this conversation with me. I am Polish, living in Ireland for half of my life. I come from financial and law background. However, I had decided to study psychology 4 years ago because I wanted to marry creativity and psychology. And in my final year of my degree, I have conducted a qualitative research which explores mental health and artistic creativity amongst female visual artists during the pandemic. The research was really fascinating, and I loved every single minute of doing it. The findings of the research really highlighted the importance of extending the application of art therapy, but also other art interventions that possibly might not even exist yet. But I wanted to bring them to life because I think that we do not use art enough yet in the world to help people. Art is very powerful. It's very important to maintaining mental health. It's very important to protect ourselves from the deterioration of mental health. And also from my personal experience, I can say that I also found art to be very much a therapy. I am an artist myself, and I started painting about 14 years ago, not having any experience with creativity before. And I suffered badly from depression, and art saved me. And it is now interesting to read my own research on creativity where another person says that art saved her during the pandemic.
Yeah, that's so interesting, Marta. And you were telling me that you helped people cope with grief and loss of life by painting for them. And a beautiful incident that she was sharing with me is when she painted for a woman who had a miscarriage, and she could not see the soul that was lost in the family picture, and Marta painted for her. She felt really good after that. And these are some of the things that she was sharing with me, and I want Marta to uh, tell our audiences what is it that helped her feel better.
So what helped me feel better was during the painting session, I always fell into a very meditative state of mind. And I was experiencing creative flow. And during the creative flow, a lot of the intrusive thoughts would go away. But at the same time, I felt that somewhere in my subconscious mind, I was working through my problems. But even this working through my problems when I was painting, it was just the thoughts coming by and going. So it's the same as when we meditate, we acknowledge the thoughts. They come and go, and it was the same when I was painting. They would come and they would go, but they didn't really stick. But I became aware of them, and I think this allowed me then to become really aware what it is that I was struggling with, how I can find healing via creativity. But I think what also helped me was when I started painting, there were a lot of people that saw something very meaningful and spiritual in my art, and they asked me to paint for them to help them. And that gave me a real purpose that really filled my heart with joy, because I think helping other people through my art, which was already helping me, gave me meaning. It gave me a reason to get up in the morning. It gave me a reason to paint. And again, that is so linked to my research as well, because these are the same experiences that the artists were commenting on, that they had a reason to get up in the morning during the COVID pandemic and paint, because this became the heart of their life, of their day. And I have exactly the same experience. And even aside from benefiting from the creative process, because I painted for people to help them overcome their emotional struggles, I feel that that was very healing to them. So being actually exposed to art that is meaningful to you seems to be very healing. And I feel the world is lacking that a little bit, because I think a lot of people buy art because they love it and the art is aesthetically pleasing. And that's beautiful. That's perfect. It's wonderful to have it around. But I think in terms of my art, there was something also very functional to it. It was so personal, and it was something that was dealing with certain experiences that people did not want to talk about to other people, but they could talk to me about it, and I could paint it to them in a way which was so gentle and so symbolic that they knew what it meant, but they didn't have to explain to the world.
Yeah.
So, for example, like with the miscarriage, it's a very difficult experience to deal with. It's really heartbreaking for many women. And the issue is that the world understands it at the beginning. They understand the pain, but then life moves on, okay? And then the mother has family portrait taken by a photographer, and that's beautiful. They have it on their wall. But then they look at those portraits and they think, well, there's actually two souls missing. These are the two souls that I lost, but I still carry them in my heart every day, and they are a part of my family. So number one, I think talking to me about this and having me acknowledging that to create a painting that was very personal to them, because the souls will be symbolized in a way that was meaningful to the women. I think having that on the wall, it's healing.
Yeah.
It's healing, and I always ask people, what would you like to feel when you look at your painting? I want to know what you want to feel. Do you want to feel courage? Do you want to feel peace? Do you want to feel love? Do you want to feel security? And then I paint from there. But I want to help to spread the application of creativity, because I've seen the huge importance of it through my creativity and the impact it has on people.
Yeah. Marta, during my growing up years, I read a biography of Vincent van Gogh, and that was by Irving Stone, where he talked about his thought process when he used to paint and what made him such a great artist. And I always carried him in my heart, but now I think you're going to replace him, because the meaning that you are bringing to art and creativity is really beyond imagination. I mean, who could have imagined an artist to ask someone, what is it that you want to feel, and paint from there? This is so very unique. And I'm really amazed by the work that you're doing. Also, when you said that, the process in which art healed you, when you were describing it, it felt like you were describing mindfulness. Yeah. Detaching with the thought, becoming aware of it, but not sticking to it, letting them come and go, and being able to objectively see them and talk to them.
Absolutely. It is mindfulness. I think for some people, it is difficult to attain this mindfulness without an actual process or activity. So I
A
think,
kinesthetic process.
yes.
And painting is something that you're doing.
Yes.
And you're also seeing, the colors.
Yes.
So you're engaging your senses as well as your body movement in it.
Yes, exactly. It's very much so mindfulness. And I would love to also share with the world that this mindfulness is very much needed for flourishing of creativity. So for all the artists out there, I would encourage you to detach yourself from expectations in relation to your artwork. Detach yourself from sticking to certain colors, sticking to certain subjects, but instead allow your body choose the color. Allow your body reach for the brush and don't think about what do you want at the end of it. It's not goal-orientated creative process.
Yeah.
It's the same when you read, for example, about meditation or Buddhism or Zen or other spiritual experiences. The goal ultimately is actually not where you arrive. The goal is to go through it.
The journey.
The journey.
As we say in mindfulness.
Exactly.
It's the journey, it's not the destination.
Exactly. And that is very healing, I think.
Yeah.
Allowing yourself the journey.
Yeah. And the way you said that, you need not judge whether it is good or bad or what is going to be the outcome at the end, whether people are going to like it or not. You detach yourself completely from the expectation and you just let it flow.
Yes, I think I perceive art as something spiritual because I think it just flows through us. And I think we need to allow it to happen. I think art is something that only the human species can produce.
Yeah.
And that is what differentiated us from other animals, right? So I think art is needed in the world. It's meant to live beyond us.
Correct.
And it's our gift, but not in the sense that I received the gift and now I need to paint. It's you have to give your art as a gift to the world. It's nearly like you're the channel and you need to let it flow and then it's born. Very often when I paint and I experience the state of flow, I actually am really surprised when I see the painting at the end. Because I feel that when I paint, I actually don't see the objects. I just see the colors and they all blend and it's a very, very beautiful experience. And then at the end, when you step back and you see it, you're actually, oh, wow. And you're always surprised.
Did I make it?
Yes. And then you love it. And it feels like it's just something that happened that you made and it's your baby. And you're so happy to give it to the world.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful experience. A really, really beautiful experience.
Yeah. It's so inspiring.
It really is. I read the biography as well when I was young. It was a great book. And I'm very surprised that you said that because actually I had so many people saying the very similar thing to me about my art and Van Gogh.
Oh.
And I always wonder why? Why do they see the resemblance? But it must be something, I think, very deep, something on a different level that reminds people of Van Gogh when they look at my art. But it's very, very interesting, fascinating.
So I just, what can I say? I just remembered that book and I must have read it some 25, 30 years ago.
Me too. It was a great book. I really enjoyed it. And of course, wonderful art, transforming pain into art that stays in the world for so long. It's worth living for.
Yeah. And one thing that I heard in this Congress since yesterday often were two words: togetherness and hope. And, I think, Marta, what you are doing is actually converting pain into hope. And when you said that, you know, something to look forward to in the morning, I think depressed people, when they're going through depression, mornings are the most difficult times for them. They just don't want to get out of bed. And so many of my own clients have told me that, if they are able to handle themselves in those initial 15 minutes, maybe the rest of the day becomes easier for them. And I think when you attain that state of flow through your art or creativity, and you look forward to doing it again in the morning, that's maybe the remedy for depression.
I think so too. I fully agree with you. I believe it is. I really, truly, and deeply believe it is. And I don't believe in it. I know it from experience. Mm-hmm. And now I know it from the results of the study I conducted. And this is what happened to me. I had something to look forward to when I was struggling with my depression. I had art to look forward to. Mm. And it gave me life. I'm here because of art. It saved me. And it saves many other people across the world.
Yeah. And so the way you are using art and creativity is more to do with the concept of flow that you were mentioning, which Seligman and Mihaly, they wrote so much about, is also about mindfulness and is also about supporting others. It's also about thinking about others. It's also about being able to connect with others. It's also about being able to empathize with others. And it's also about the compassion that you feel for others, where you want to not only to, say some nice words to them or console them, but also to actually do something for them which they can relate to. And at such a deeper level, where you are asking them, what is it that you want to feel when you want to look at that painting? And so I think your kind of work that you're doing is beyond what we are looking at in general terms.
Yes, but I think this empathy, I can say that I feel things very deeply. Mm. So I think for me, I know that personally, my gift is not only to create art for the aesthetical reasons, but I know that I need to use the empathy to help others. And I think this is why maybe I can create art that helps others, because like you said, it's the empathy, it's the connection. A lot of my art is spiritual and it's about connection of two people. So for example, one of the paintings that I created was a figure. It's not a human form. It's like a very long soul falling down the cliffs. And then there's another soul, again, very long, stretched figure with its arm reaching and grabbing the other soul to stop the first soul from falling down. And I think that's showing our human side, our humanity, our human side of helping each other. And also it gives hope to the person that is about to fall, hope that there's someone for them out there that can help them, that you're never alone when you're depressed, that you're never alone when you wake up in the morning and you don't want to keep living. There's someone out there, and such painting is a reminder that there's someone out there. There's other paintings where a person is reaching for a heart in the air, which is surrounded by beautiful colors, just to kind of portray the feeling of this love and this light is in your reach. So again, if someone wanted to look at the painting and feel that they can be happy and they can experience love, warmth, and happiness well, if they look at a painting, they will feel it. And that's something that really fulfills me. And although there are many definitions of art, there is this common thread throughout the definitions that art is supposed to be aesthetically pleasing, but also functional. And I think that's where I combine in my art.
That's a very important word that you're saying, functional. And I'm reminded of Paul Gilbert's compassion focused therapy. Have you heard about him and his work?
No.
It's based on Mahayana Buddhism. And
that speaks to my heart.
yeah. And it does say all these things that you're saying, and you are going to be amazed when you read about it.
I will definitely read about it. I read a lot on Buddhism as a philosophy. I think Buddhist philosophy is my philosophy. It's how I try to live my life, and it really helps me. And I feel that Buddhism and art are definitely very much aligned, and they are just different sides of the same coin.
Yeah, yeah. And, the mindfulness that you're bringing into it is also Buddhist in nature. It has roots in Buddhism. The compassion that you're speaking about, and not only speaking about, you are showing it through your being. You are exuding it. You are not even required to, utter it verbally. And so, yes. And I think that it's the spiritual nature of your work that has its appeal and that has its results. And our talk in this Congress is also on spirituality and well-being.
Wow. So really our interests are very aligned.
Yeah. And so we are going to talk about spirituality and psychological well-being in a very long invited symposium that's around 90 minutes long, and we are 4 of us going to speak on it in various aspects from the Indian perspective. And as you know, that Buddhism originated in India, and there are many other very rich sources of all this wisdom in India. One of them is the Bhagavad Gita. Have you heard about
it?
Yes,
I have. Yes.
Yeah. So it was wonderful meeting you and talking to you, Marta, and I can't just begin to say how happy I am to have met you. And I'm sure my audiences have fallen in love with you as much as I have.
Thank you very much. I really loved meeting you. It's a great honor. It's a great pleasure. It was a wonderful conversation. And I look forward to learning and reading more of your work. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Marta. Thank you. Thank you.